inspire you to pick up yourself and go. You will find it's all you need to do. Reach down inside and find out you're the one. You don't want to fly, yeah. You don't want to read, yeah. You can do all things, just choose.
Blessings to you, blessings to you. God is love and love is for everyone. Welcome to the Denise Newsome Show, the show that gives credit where credit is due. Please share, tag, subscribe, and if you have any questions or comments, please put it in the comment section. We ask you to give us some warm hearts and likes. Before I introduce our guests, we are going to take a commercial break. So once the man of God is in his element, there will be no interruptions.
Do people really care? Have you asked yourself this question before, or has someone asked you? Could it be that people do care, but they may be uncomfortable with the topic of grief and loss, so they don't appear to care? Or could it be that they too have had their own grief story that overwhelmed their ability to cope with trauma? Therefore, they don't touch it or don't know how to. Excerpt from page 19. Rules of Engagement, Grief and Loss, Do People Really Care? Is a framework to support engagement in open and honest dialogue surrounding the topic of grief and loss. Written by Dr. Kiana Battle and Pastor Keith Battle. For more information on how to purchase your copy of Rules of Engagement, Grief and Loss, Do People Really Care? Please visit kbattleconsulting.com. Dr. Kiana Battle brings you service from the heart, focusing on training, education, and professional development. Specialty areas include grief and loss, trauma-informed practice, policy development, grant writing development, public school social work education, professional presentations, public speaking, and youth and adolescent development. Connect today with Dr. Kiana Battle by emailing her at info@kbattleconsulting.com. Mo Better First Musical Convention, July 8th, 2022 at 7 p.m. with a $20 admission. Featuring Mo Better and Company, the Olive Branch Mass Choir, New Revelation, One Purpose, Summer Breeze Italia Record Company, and Denise Howell and the Youth and Teen Dance Company. This event will be located at Olive Branch Baptist Church in Dinwiddie, Virginia. There are round-trip bus departures from New York to Virginia, and there's also accommodations at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites. Make sure for your hotel accommodations, when you make your reservations, you refer to MCBF. Questions? Comments? Contact Mo Better, 516-450-1087.
We would like to thank all of our sponsors, Dr. Kiana Battle of Service from the Heart, Dr. Kiana Battle and Pastor Keith Battle, in their newest book, which is now available on Amazon, Rules of Engagement, Grief and Loss, Do People Really Care? And Mo Better Company and Family. We thank you for your love and your support. This man of God is not a stranger to the Denise Newsome Show. Euwanii Hughes will be in his element as he discusses the power of reaching one goal, for God unlocks the next level. Once you reach one, two is inevitable. His topic is momentum. Please receive author Euwanii Hughes.
Hey Kings and Queens, I'm Euwanii Hughes. I'm the CEO of Great Gale and the mangaka for Afrofuturism Manga, Bold Saga, and thank you again, Denise Newsome Show, for this opportunity. Again, tonight we're going to be discussing momentum. And honestly, this is the power of reaching. One allows you to unlock the next level through God. So before we even get into momentum, before we even get into why this is so important, I just want to take a step back to explain how we even got here and why momentum literally is one of the most powerful things that you can use in your life. So as a kid, I always wanted to create something that could truly outlast me, truly something that could help people in their lives. I started with video games, but then I realized for the first couple of years, from the years of 2014 when I had the idea up until 2018, I had this idea, I had this goal, and I kept working towards the goal, kept working towards it, and I would set a 1 year time limit. I didn't set truly smart goals, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time conscious. I just set the goal, put myself up to it, but I truly didn't know what I was doing. But throughout that time, I gained knowledge. And then it was in 2018, I switched from being sporadic to being laser focused. Instead of trying to put a lot of different things all out at once, I focused on getting one thing done and one thing done completely well. And it took me from 2018 to 2020. That was when I released the first chapter of this book, Bold Saga, and that's when the series started. And then the next chapter was just released in 2021, and then we're up to 2022, and that is the current place. So in 4 years, I was able to accomplish a goal, and it really started with the first 2 years, and then we went on to the next chapter, which took even less time. Why is this so significant? The reason why this matters is because this all literally deals with momentum. And all momentum really is truly about, it's about a system. So you don't want to spend your time working on goals that you don't exactly strategize, you don't exactly know where you're going. You have to have a goal that's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time conscious. You have to spend time investing how to get to that goal as efficiently as possible. So many times we get caught up in this aspect of time is money. We want to be making things that make us as much money as possible, when in reality, time is the most important asset. Why? Because you can always make money back. You can get a job, you can apply for grants, you can start a business, but time, in the game of life, we really don't know how much time we have on the clock. So this is why momentum is truly so important. This is why momentum can truly change your life. So again, before I had a system 2014 to 2018. By 2018 to 2020 and beyond, I implemented systems. Connie Falls even mentions it. Systems save lives. Systems allow you to have a framework. Russell Brunson has talked about this. It really helps you, even Myron Golden as well. When you have a system in place, it literally allows you to change your life. So again, all of this deals with momentum. And what is momentum? So if you've never heard of the term momentum before, I'm just going to explain why I called today's episode this element, why it's so important, and why momentum is literally so valuable and so helpful to change your life. So momentum is literally the force or energy existed by a moving body. So you can even look at, for example, a tennis ball or a big bowling ball. If you have pins and the pins are in the way, you throw a tennis ball, the tennis ball does not have the mass to really, with the velocity, to overcome these actual, the actual bowling pins. But if you have a bowling ball and the bowling ball is going against those pins, the bowling ball, when you have the right force and you throw it, it literally has the momentum to overcome those pins. And that is literally what momentum is all about. It's about a driving force or advancing strength of a development or course of events. It's literally a force gained by impulse. It's an essential or constituent, it's a constituent element, something that's truly essential to help you go forward. And when you look at the word momentum, you get the word moment. And moment is a moment in time. It's a very brief portion of time. It's an instant. So again, this all ties back to when I mentioned before about time. Time is your greatest asset. And when you're moving forward in life with your goals, with living your purpose for God, it's all about using your time most efficiently. And we're going to just keep going forward. So again, momentum, it literally is a system. It's a framework. And I've been studying this for the last couple of months, and I've really learned it's so true. When you have a system, when you have a framework, it can literally propel you to the next stage of your life. It can literally give you that strength, that energy. that dunamis power that the Holy Spirit gives. It gives you that strength. It's what happens when you move in momentum. And it is so important. Even when you think about this episode, it's shown, in your element. When you're in your element, you're using an impact effort matrix. So that again is a system. What you're doing that is the least amount of effort with the most amount of impact. That is being in your element. And when you're doing that, you're using momentum. You're progressing. See, momentum doesn't start in your hands. Momentum doesn't start in your muscles. Momentum starts in your mind. You have to be able to overcome it in your mind first. I know Joyce Myers had a book that says the mind is a battlefield. That's where all of the greatest fights are happening, not physically in front of you. It's all about overcoming those self-limiting beliefs, those mentalities that try and keep you down, those strongholds that tell you that you can't do this or you can't do that. And when I first started out, I had these mentalities that tried to tell me that I couldn't do what I was saying. Whether it was the barrier of money, whether it was the barrier of not believing in myself, not having the skills, to actually learning a system, investing in myself, and being able to actually get, this is a dream come true. This took me so many years to get done. Just getting chapter 1 released, I faced the limits of, my grandfather passed away, COVID happened. I took a major business mistake that almost made me want to quit and give up. Depression. I had to work on my grandfather's funeral arrangements. All throughout all of this chaos, throughout all of that. And on top of all of these limitations, another company has filed for an identical trademark for my book for Bold Saga. So I'm doing a notice of opposition case right now, which can be up to $50,000 in legal fees and up to 7 years in court. But I'm not letting any of that stop me. I'm choosing to maintain momentum because, in physics, there's a Newton's laws of motion. An object in motion remains in motion unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. So again, when you talk about a soccer ball or even a bowling ball, when you look at it, it's going to keep moving forward once it has that push behind of it. Sometimes they say the hardest part is moving forward and getting something started. That is why momentum is incredible. When you throw that bowling ball, when you throw the soccer ball, or even if you kick it, it's going to keep moving forward unless it's acted upon by an unbalanced force. So that's why you have to be very cautious about the forces that are coming into your life. Unless God is giving you that holding pattern and he's the one that's stopping you, you want to make sure you're always moving forward. Just like when a soccer ball is passed from one person to another person to another person, they're all releasing forces. They're all releasing impulses that are changing it. And that's what allows it to move. So when you're moving forward with your goal, with whatever God has given you, you want to make sure that the goal is still in your mind, and the outside forces that are trying to stop you, you cannot let them overcome you. There's a quote that says, if there is an African proverb actually, if there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And it's so true. Because when you have that momentum and you keep moving forward, it doesn't matter, what is coming against you. The Bible even talks about making a table before me in the presence of my enemies. 1,000 shall fall at my side, 10,000 at thy right hand, but none shall come nigh you. When you have the Holy Spirit protecting you, when you have God protecting you, when you can move forward with momentum, you are unstoppable. You have to keep progressing. You have to keep moving forward. So again, it's all about momentum. Even Bishop Price had mentioned, when you have momentum, what can really stop you? What can really get in your way when you have God before you? Like when the Bible says, if God is behind of you pushing you, what can really oppose you? What can really stop you? And this is all the meaning of momentum. And how do you even get to momentum? How do you even get to that point where you can utilize momentum? The way how you get to utilizing momentum is, again, it starts in the mind. So it's got to be a mindset. And since it's a mindset shift, it's something I've had to do. So again, momentum is a principle. And one thing I like about principles is that principles work 100% of the time, no matter who you are. Myron Golden talked about this. I mean, even if you look at the principle of gravity, gravity doesn't work for one person or another person. Gravity works for everyone on earth. Just like success principles, like if you look at the value ladder system, when you have one product on one level, and then you have another product and another product and another product. When you have, for example, a free product and you upsell someone to the next level, the next level, the next level, when you have the proper way of explaining it, when you use hook, story, offer, like what Russell Brunson talks about in his books, these are wealth keys that work 100% of the time for anyone who's applied it. That's why ClickFunnels has been able to process $13 billion in sales, all because of a process. They're using momentum. They're helping people to go from one level to another level. It's not about sales, it's about helping people get to the next level and persuading them ethically with things that they want. Again, this is the power of momentum. The goal in life is to maintain momentum. You have to gain momentum and then you have to maintain momentum. So, how do you even gain momentum? How do you get to that part where you're using a system, where you're using a mindset that helps you? Well, you have to invest in yourself. You can't just let the things around you dictate what you're doing. I know Myron Golden had even mentioned it. You don't want to do what 99% of people in the world are doing. You want to do what 1% of people in the world are doing. So if everyone is focusing on social media, if everyone is focusing on likes and vanity metrics and all these other things that are, superfluous, getting caught up in fear, that's not going to transform your life. What is going to transform your life is if you do what 1% of the people in the world are doing. And what are 1% of the people in the world doing? 1% of the people in the world are focusing on education. Education instead of just entertainment. And yes, you can have edutainment, but you want to always be investing into yourself. Again, it's not about the grass on the other side is greener than your grass. The grass is greener where you water it. And one of the most amazing quotes I'd ever heard was, let me just draw this real quickly and then do it again. Let me see. So if this is your mind, someone once said, if you pour your entire wallet into your mind, then your mind is going to pour unlimited wealth into your wallet. I'll say it again. When you pour your entire wallet, where a man's treasure is there, their heart will be also. So if you pour your whole wallet, all of your money, if you invest into yourself, truly into your mind, that takes you to a place that you've never seen before. It takes you to, levels that you've never seen before, because your imagination truly is something that is incredible. One person said it's your greatest superpower. So when you're investing so much into your mind, you don't get caught up on low level thinking that says, I can't do this, or I can't do that, or it's impossible. You get caught up on high level thinking. You get caught up on using strategies. You get caught up on using things that can propel you, starting a business, starting a trust, learning how stocks work, investing into systems, utilizing and reading as many books and topics and courses as possible. You want to be able to invest into yourself. And again, this is all about momentum, but you have to be grounded. So that 1%, the people who are using momentum, they're being grounded. They're utilizing these strategies, these principles to get to the next level. And again, it doesn't just work for one person, it works for anyone else that uses it, because it's all about principles. This is what I had to tell myself when I was making my book, because before I made Bold Saga, I had never seen Afrofuturism manga before, but I invested into myself to learn. I've been studying manga for most of my life, but actually creating your own book, actually learning how to market your own book. I went from having an idea in my head in 2014 to 2018, not executing on it properly, to actually releasing the book, getting it out, learning from the number one person in my industry, which is Black Sands Entertainment. And then on top of that, speaking of Black Sands Entertainment, this is a business that's made over $2 million. They've been on Shark Tank. They've already got a deal with Kevin Hart and Mark Cuban. And I was able to speak with them. And they were able to say that Bold Saga is amazing. It's an amazing book. So if I was able to do that because I maintain momentum, then what can you do in your life when you maintain momentum? When you don't let the limits of life throw you off? When you don't let the challenges of life throw you off? It's all about maintaining momentum. And maintaining momentum has to do with frameworks, and it has to do with faith. Because faith is trust. And even the Bible talks about it. The very things of this world are formed by the things that we can't see. So literally, before the chair was invented, it was an imagination. It was in someone's thoughts. God put it in someone's heart. Before a crown was invented or created, it was placed in someone's heart by God. Imagination comes from God. All things come from God. So again, you're going to need frameworks and you're going to need faith, because it takes a certain level of faith to trust in things that you cannot see, and then coming back, seeing it in your mind, and then coming back and then seeing in reality. Because it was a bunch of frameworks and faith when I released Bold Saga, because I had never seen this before. I had never created my own book before. I was just thinking I need to change my perspective, because Master P mentioned that when you look at it, product outweighs talent. You can have as much talent as you want. You can have as much talent as you think you have. You can think you're better than anyone. But when you have that product, it can outweigh the talent. When you have something that can outlast you, that is incredible. That's why when you look at, for example, there's Pokemon, there's Hello Kitty. Out of the top media franchises on Earth, number one is Pokemon, and they're worth over, let's see, I believe 90 billion, 92 billion. Another one is Hello Kitty. These are people that are in the top of the top of the top. But what they did is that they maintained momentum. They were able to keep moving forward in spite of everything. They kept releasing more products. They kept going forward. So this is why it's so good to master one thing and then release it and release it and release it. You want to be able to provide the most amount of value in whatever part and whatever God has in your life. You want to be able to create and release the most amount of value, but also have the imagination, also have that God-given mentality that helps you overcome. Because when you do it that way, you're able to create your own systems. And when you create your own systems, your own frameworks, that's how you get to something that's 92 billion. That's how you get to millions and billions of dollars worth of value, worth of products, worth of content. It all starts in the mind. I mean, at the end of the day, we keep thinking that if you go to school, if you get a degree, that's going to be the way to wealth. But in reality, if you learn to speak better, if you learn to change your mindset, if you learn to overcome problems and turn your problems into solutions, that's it. Because when a person provides solutions to problems, they never have to worry about money. Even when you look at money, and this is why momentum is important. When you look at money and you're chasing that money, you're not going to get it. But if you have something that the money wants, the money is going to chase you. So at the end of the day, if you truly want to attract wealth, if you truly want to get to that next level of life, you have to become the thing that you are searching for. So if you want to become a millionaire, you have to have the mindset of a millionaire. You have to position yourself for that. And this is why you have to have momentum. Even when you look at plants, the plant has to go downwards first before it goes up. You have to be a seed. The seed has to grow down, and that's gravitropic because it's growing towards gravity, and then it grows up towards the sun. And that's the interesting thing about plants. Plants are gravitropic and they are phototropic. So at the end of the day, this also deals with your life, because as you gain momentum, you learn that it's the hard times in life that push you down before it's God's grace that lifts you up and takes you to that next level. And this is what I had to realize, because even in my current state right now, I'm trying to finish the next chapters of my books. And let me tell you, the amount of stress and anxiety that's hit me in this stage is even worse than when I first tried to release the first chapters. I mean, I had COVID. I went to the hospital for the third time for the ER, all types of stress and anxiety, just about every type of aggravation. I have a court case. I told you, notice of opposition that's currently going on where another company is trying to claim Bold Saga. All of these things have pushed me down. But one thing I've learned is that just like a slingshot, the further back you're held is the farther forward you're going. And what I love is that the amount of strategies and ideas and mentalities that I've gained in this time, in the hardest time, reminds me of David when he was in the cave of Adullam. These are the moments that change your life. These are the moments that help you go from good to great. These are the moments that transform you into becoming who you're meant to be. At the end of the day, it's like what Myron Golden mentioned with the easy hard principle. Whatever is easy in the beginning is going to be hard in the future. Whatever is hard in the beginning is going to be easier in the future. Perfect example. If you're lifting weights, you start off with 5, 10, 15, 20, you're going up, but you're gaining muscle along the way. So the tension, the adversity, all of the problems are building you. They're building you up. Just like a plant has to go down. It has forces, external forces that are pushing on it, the soil, gravity, all of the oppositions, but you're persevering. Exactly, Veronica, you're persevering. You're growing in the midst of adversity. And that's so amazing because even when you look at momentum, in order for something to move forward, it has to overcome something. A perfect example. If I'm held down by the force of gravity, for me to actually have momentum to even jump, I have to go down first and then jump. I don't just jump. You have to build up momentum and then you have to release. So literally, even when you walk, you're pressing your feet against the ground. So what's happening is that your feet have to come in contact with something before you can move forward. You actually have to keep friction. There's a tension. There's a tension that's produced, but all of that, when you overcome it, it allows you to progress. It allows you to move forward. And this is why momentum is so important. Dave Ramsey mentioned when you win, it adds momentum to your behavior. So again, this is why I talked about momentum as the name of this element, the in your element segment, because when you gain that one win, your next win is inevitable. Because, perfect example, when I learned how to make my first book and Amazon told me I failed sending it to physical versions 24 times, I got the Kindle issues wrong. I got just about every issue. I was releasing in July, but the full book didn't come out until August. I was a month behind. By chapter 2, it was half the work. It was so much easier. So that's why once you get 1, 2 is inevitable. That's why when someone learns to become a millionaire the first time, they're easily able to get to the next level and the next level and the next level based on principles, but they also have to transform themselves. Every part of your life, it's all about not just what you get, but who you are becoming in the process. Who you are becoming in the process. That's what changes everything. Because when you become a better version of yourself, you attract a different level of life. When you transform your mindset, being transformed by the renewing of your mind, you go to another level and another level and another level. So again, things happen from a place that you can't see before they actually happen in reality. It happens in your imagination first, and then it happens in reality. Even the Bible talks about it in 2 Timothy 2:15. You have to study to show yourself approved, study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. And even Jim Rohn mentioned, formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. So again, if you're going to get to that first million, the second million, what happens is that you have to keep studying. Formal education can only take you so far. Studying and learning from a degree and things like that, that can only take you but so far. But as you self-invest, as you invest in yourself, like when I mentioned pouring your entire wallet into your mind so your mind can pour infinite amounts of money into your wallet, it's all about that self-investment. And I've definitely learned that along this process, because from cover to cover, I've learned how to do this, from the writing, the self-publishing, the marketing, all of that. All of that is possible because I invested into my mind. I invested into learning how to become a better version of myself. And from that, I was able to get that momentum, because the reality is that in life, there are, as I mentioned, the object in motion remains in motion unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. What also happens is that, just like a rock, for example, a rock has inertia, just like people do. If you're in one state, you want to stay in that state. So if you're depressed, you're going to stay depressed. If you're excited, you're going to stay excited, unless you're acted upon by an unbalanced force. So in life, you have to be the unbalanced force. You have to be the one to get yourself from static to motion. You have to move. You have to progress. You have to go forward, because there's two states. It's either you're living or you're dying. So it's either you're growing or you're, losing. And that's why momentum is so important. Like Carl Thomas even mentioned, again, you have to be that unbalanced force. You have to trust God. And if he's not having you in a holding position, then you have to move forward. So many times we think that it's I'm praying to God, asking for an answer, asking for a solution, but God's given us the green light, kings and queens. God's given us that green light, that green light to go. He's given it to us. And unless he has you in a holding pattern, it's about utilizing your time to move forward. And this brings us to something that's very interesting, and that deals directly with momentum. I don't know if you've ever heard of this before. There's a topic called, or a concept long ago. It was called the demon wall. And what happened is that If you were just going to fly a plane, if you were to reach a certain speed, because I believe the speed of sound is, I think, 336 miles an hour, if you were to go anywhere near that or close to that speed, what would happen is that you would get hit with this demon wall. So let's put DW. And if you went anywhere near the demon wall, they believe that the amount of drag from going that fast would tear planes apart. It would destroy anything, and no one believed it was possible. No one thought you could overcome the demon wall. No one thought. Everyone was like, it's impossible, it can't be done. But at the end of the day, on October 14th, 1947, Chuck Yeager, so I'll put CY, he was able to overcome this. And what happened is, as he kept moving forward, as he kept maintaining momentum, he was able to go right through it. He was able to go right through it. And the fascinating thing is that right before going through it, his entire ship, the plane he was flying, was shaking. There was turbulence. There was all types of chaos. But at the end of the day, once he passed through it and once he hit the sonic boom right through, once he got on the other side of it, he didn't even see the sonic boom because he was on the other side of it. So sometimes in life, we get caught up in things are looking terrible, things are looking horrible. I'm going through all of these problems and issues, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to move forward. You have to be able to maintain that momentum. And it's so fascinating because by maintaining the momentum, he was able to overcome something that everyone said was impossible. That's why even Nelson Mandela said it. It only seems impossible until it's done. So impossible literally is nothing. It's just a word that's used by people to say that this can't be done or that can't be done. But just because they weren't able to do it, they try to put their limiting beliefs on you. But at the end of the day, anything is possible. To him that believes, when you have God on your side, again, what can really stop you? What can really stop you from getting to that next level? So again, that's why you have to keep moving forward. But at the end of the day, what if you are the demon wall in your life? What if you are the person that's having a mentality that's stopping yourself from getting to the next level? What if you have a mindset that says that I can't do this, I can't do that? You have to overcome it. You have to speak to yourself and say, self, I will get this done. That's why I'm a firm believer in affirmations. I try to the best of my ability every day to speak life, to say that I will get this done, to say that I will get this done at a specific time, that I will overcome these challenges. Exactly. Deidre Moody said, nothing can stop me. And it's true. Nothing can stop you. So it's all about overcoming the limits, overcoming the challenges. Again, Gary Vee even mentioned it. It's you versus you until the best you emerges. Again, it's you versus you until the best you emerges. So if you are the demon wall, you have to overcome that and persevere and get on the other side. So at the end of the day, the power to endure is another aspect of momentum because it's not going to be easy. Just like lifting weights, it's never easy, but it's always worth it. So you have to have the power to endure. You have to have that ability to overcome the challenges life is throwing at you, to overcome everything that life is throwing at you. And what's that going to require? It's going to require faith because, we can only do but so much in our own strength. But with faith, when you have God on your side, you have that ability to keep going. My business is based on the second wind phenomenon, which is literally when you're exhausted and you can't go anymore, and energy that comes from within helps you to keep moving forward. I believe that's the Holy Spirit. I believe that's God. And I know that when you have God on your side, you're able to overcome things that literally it would be impossible so that God gets the glory. And at the end of the day, you have to keep moving forward. When you have that momentum, when you keep going forward, just like I mentioned about the tennis ball, when you even look at a bowling ball, all of these things have momentum when they're in motion, but you have to have that force that's behind of it. And when you keep moving forward, you're able to overcome. Les Brown even mentions it. He calls it the winner's quality. It's literally like when he said, it's not over until I win. So again, you have to progress. You have to move forward. It doesn't matter what's trying to come against you. It doesn't matter what force is going to be there, because at the end of the day, all of these things go to show you that you're getting closer to your next level. Video games have taught me a very important thing. And that thing is that anytime, let me just erase it so you can see it. Anytime there is a treasure, so I'll put a star right here, there's always going to be opposition. There's always going to be enemies. So I'll just put an EN for enemies. And then there's you. You have to overcome the enemy that is in your way to get to that prize, to get to that goal, to get to that treasure. And that's a fascinating thing, The only way to overcome this is by using momentum, by staying moving forward, overcoming the challenges life throws at you. You have to be relentless. That's what I had to do because it seemed like it was impossible. It seemed like there was no way. My grandfather passed away. I had to go back to the Caribbean. I'm trying to work day and night on Bold Saga, but my family's telling me you need to get this, and that done for the funeral. So all of these things are tragic and traumatic. But at the end of the day, I maintained the momentum. I maintained that in this moment, I have to keep moving forward because, as Bishop Price had mentioned, God wants to turn your moment and turn it into momentum, utilizing that one time when you got that win to help you move forward. Because when you're moving forward, other people are seeing you move forward, and then you're inspiring someone else, and then you're inspiring someone else. So again, even Bishop Price had mentioned, don't take your eyes off the prize, you'll lose momentum. So at the end of the day, if you're looking at a bullseye right there and you're shooting at it, if you take your eyes off of the goal, you're not going to hit the goal. If you take your eyes off the prize, you're not going to hit the goal. And you lose momentum that way. But I've found out something. When you maintain momentum and you get around other people who are maintaining momentum, almost like a cloud of witness, you're able to keep going. You're able to maintain the momentum and get to the next level. That's why momentum makes you gain a drive. Bishop Price had mentioned that. And focus truly is your superpower. That's why even T.D. Jakes had said something that I truly found that was profound and helped me along this journey. See, you become fire when you're focused. So the F is for focus. That fire happens when you're focused. Even when you look at the sun's rays, and God makes it so amazing that the sun gives off all of this energy, but it's at such a distance that every 8 minutes you feel the light of the sun. But that same light, when it's concentrated, is able to make lasers. It's able, when it's concentrated and it has the momentum, it's able to pierce through things that regular sunlight wouldn't. So again, you're focused when you're fire, and that focus helps you maintain momentum. It helps you overcome the challenges that life throws at you. Even Tony Robbins mentioned, where focus goes, energy flows. So again, if you focus on the wrong thing, like me when I first started, I was focused on too many things all at once. But when I started to focus on one thing and try and get that one thing done, and then get that one thing done, there's no greater feeling when you have a goal and it's for God and you get it done. I'm telling you, it is phenomenal. And all it makes you want to do is get to the next level. So two things that I noticed, and it was really interesting about momentum, is what Winston Churchill said. And again, these are all the mindsets that help you get momentum. So momentum, again, is not about what you're just lifting or just the goals that you're doing. It literally starts in your mind, and then it goes from the head down to your hands, to your feet, to your heart. You have to have the mindset. That's how you're able to overcome. So Winston Churchill said, there comes a special moment in everyone's life, a moment for which that person was born. That special opportunity, when he seizes it, will fulfill his mission, a mission for which he is uniquely qualified for. In that moment, he will find greatness. It is his finest hour. So I'll just put FH for finest hour. Another thing Winston Churchill said, which was interesting, is to each there comes in their lifetime a special moment when they are figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered the chance to do a very special thing, unique to them. Again, the finest hour, but it's fitted to their talents. What a tragedy if that moment finds them unprepared or unqualified for that which could have been their finest hour. So in life, when you maintain momentum, you have two options. Either you maintain momentum enough to achieve your finest hour and actually win in that finest hour, or you do not utilize your time wisely. You do not maintain momentum. And when the finest moment and your finest hour is in front of you, you miss. You don't want to be on this side. You want to be on this side. So that's why maintaining momentum is so important, because when you're continuously working towards a goal day and night, when you're continuously day by day working towards it, putting in energy, putting in effort, having the right mentality, that's how winning is done. It's not about just saying it. It's not about just the pretty words that come to your mind and things like that. It's literally about maintaining that momentum so that when the finest hour, that one moment, that once in a lifetime opportunity comes, you're able to seize the moment. You're able to win on purpose. Again, momentum propels you to maximize your finest hour, not be unprepared for it. And the reality is that momentum helps you to shatter limits. So when you utilize momentum, when you have that mentality, you're able to go from one level to another level to another level to another level. And again, the importance is that momentum deals with time, because we don't have forever. And that's such an interesting thing. When you wake up and realize that you don't have forever, even the Bible talks about tomorrow is not promised. So if we keep waiting for tomorrow, if we keep waiting for the right time, if we keep waiting for the right moment, that's another moment that we've lost. That's another moment that we've lost. Yes, Deidre Moody mentioned it, win on purpose, and it's so true. You don't want to wait until tomorrow. Why put off for tomorrow what you can do today? I was even speaking with my grandmother yesterday, and she had mentioned that learning is better than silver and gold. Why is that so interesting? Well, if you look at yourself and if you look at that concept, learning is better than silver and gold. Silver and gold is something material. And at the end of the day, we know that the things that are immaterial will last longer than the things that are material. So when you learn, you're changing your mind. And when you learn and then you help others, you're changing other people's minds. You're helping them to become better versions of themselves. And that learning can be passed on to another person and another person and another person and another person. But gold and silver, they just have a finite quality to them. They have a finite value to them. When you become a person that has so much value, when you become a person who has added value upon value upon value to their skill set, you're able to go to the next level. You want to become the person that God has called you to be. And that's why momentum is so important, because you're maintaining that momentum. You're gaining that momentum. And once you gain momentum, you're able to push yourself to a level that you've never seen before in your entire life. And again, I've mentioned it before, and it's so true. The things that help you get to that momentum, it's literally about investing into yourself. I had to learn that because I kept thinking that, I'm not qualified to get to the next level. I'm not qualified because I don't have this or that, or I can't charge on another level because I don't have this or that. But then I realized, wait, I'm living in this moment right now. I believe that anytime someone is born or exists, you exist in life for a reason and for a purpose that is suited to you. So many times people have passed away from situations, mistakes, accidents, all types of things. But if you're still alive, if you're hearing this, then you have a purpose. You're breathing. Everything happens for a reason. I truly believe there are no accidents. Everything is by design. So I truly believe that literally there are no accidents. Everything is by design. Your choices, whether good or bad, are literally taking you where you're supposed to be or where you can learn from so that others can learn from you. So again, you have to maintain the momentum. You have to keep moving forward. Again, knowledge, learning, these are things that can take you to the next level, because sure, it'd be great if someone just came and just invested a lot of money into a business. It'd be great if someone just gave a person money. But at the end of the day, someone had mentioned this. If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. So there's a fish right there, fish. If you feed a man a fish or teach him how to fish, you're able to help him, maintain a lifestyle. So there's a fish and then there's another fish. But if you own the lake, then you have the fish. All the fish are in there. The goal, I truly believe, in life is to OTL. You want to own the lake. You want to be able to get to a point where you use your intellectual property, your mind, to create something that you've never seen before. Your mind to create something that can truly impact lives. Because when you use your mindset and you create a framework, it's something that is incredible. It's something that defines you. It's something that separates you. Because so many times in life we just get caught up in products. We just get caught up in things, physical, material things. On one side you have C, which is for commodity, and on the other side you have something. Let's do IP. So C is your commodity. For example, Russell Brunson gave this example, and it deals all again with momentum. When you get that mind to move to that next level, he gave the example of an iPhone, and he asked people, and he said, I have this iPhone, it's $800. Who wants to buy it from me? And he was in a room, a mastermind of, a lot of great people that have wealth, captains of industry. No one said at that moment, they didn't care because they had either iPhones or better. on the outside, its value only looked like it was $800. But what happened is that over 20 years, he had invested, let's see, on the other side. So he invested intellectual property into the phone. So for example, he invested, let's say, about $750,000 into the phone. So that's 750K. So 750,000 over 20 years of helping his mind to maintain momentum, getting everything in the industry that is in. For him, he was learning marketing. For you, it could be business, it could be being a nurse. When you have a level of excellence that's unparalleled, you set yourself apart. This is why learning, this is why investing into yourself, believing in yourself is so important. And then he added his Rolodex of people that he knew, so that's like worth like another 100,000. Then he showed private messages and other systems that's worth 50,000. And at the end of the day, the true value of it was $1.5 million. And then after that, people were able to see that from everyone not caring about the phone to actually going to, I want this phone, I want the phone. People were bidding on the phone. And by the example, by the end, people came on stage and said that they wanted to invest $500,000 into the phone. Because at the end of the day, it was the value of the phone, not what the phone has. And I believe that parallels to our lives, because who we truly are and how valuable we are in this world, in this earth, is truly based on what is inside of us. Not just the things that we wear, but inside of us, our internal value, the things that we learn. That's the only thing that's separating one person from another person, the things that they've learned in life and what they apply. There needs to be a certain level of velocity from what God has given us to actually utilizing it. Because if you just sit on what God has given you, you're not utilizing it. And you know, there's this law called the law of use. And this is why you need to maintain momentum. If you're using it, you're going to maintain it. But what you don't use, you lose. So if you want to go to that next level, you have to continuously invest into your craft. You have to continuously work towards becoming the best version of yourself, because you want to do everything with a spirit of excellence, because you want to do everything as if you're doing it unto God. So you want to maintain the momentum. You want to keep moving forward. And yes, there will be challenges. Yes, there will be issues that try to get in your way. But long story short, you want to keep maintaining that momentum, because when you move forward, you're able to get to the next level. So you don't want to let the challenges of life slow you down. Even when you look at a plane takes off not with the wind pushing it. It takes off with the wind going against it. So the wind is not here, the wind is here. And that tension allows it to keep going forward. So you want to maintain your momentum. You don't want to let the challenges of life get in your way, because when they do, and you have an idea, you're not utilizing it. It's just like when God gives us a seed of an idea or an imagination, something that we can use to change the world. If we're not using it, then the enemy will come in. And then that idea will end up on someone else. And then someone else will be using it. And they may not be using it for God. So this is why there has to be a certain level of velocity between when we have an idea and when we get the idea done. And that's why I truly believe you have to step out on faith. You don't want to wait until you can see everything in front of you and make that first step. You don't want to wait until the perfect moment to get that first step. You want to be making steps. You want to be moving forward, because you need that faith. When you move forward, even in the midst of adversity, even if you can't see the next step, but you trust God, you have a plan, you have a strategy, it's from Him, you're able to go into places that you've never seen before. When I made this book, I did not wait until the perfect moment. It, as I've mentioned before, tragedy, trauma, heartache, pain, every single type of issue. And again, I'm doing the book. My wife helped me. She gave me advice, but I'm doing a lot of the physical work. All throughout all of that, I've learned that you can't wait until the perfect moment. There are people who I've seen in my industry who I remember seeing them on stage, and now I'm actually at events talking with them, having panels with them. So all of this ties back to momentum. I didn't let the challenges of life slow me down. Even the fact of how I found the other company with the notice of opposition, it was by God, but I didn't let these challenges and issues keep me from moving forward. Yes, there were times when I've been afraid, because I can't pretend like, everything is perfect and it's a crystal stair. There are times when I felt like giving up. There are times when it feels hard, because growth is not easy. But at the end of the day, as I mentioned before with the law of ease. Whatever is hard in the beginning will be easier in the end. Whatever is easy in the beginning will be harder in the end. So this is why momentum is so important. You have to maintain that momentum, because in that moment, in that one moment, you just don't know who you're touching. I've created this book, this series that I truly believe is from God, and I've heard people say that it gives them motivation and encourages them. It gives them hope. And yes, there's a faith-based component to it, but I truly believe that it's God, because so much of what I've gone through is literally in the story. And if I haven't mentioned before, in Bold Saga, Misego, his goal is to be the next Anansi, like his role model, Shaka Zulu. But first he has to overcome tests, trials, and a rite of passage. So there's tests, there's trials, and then there's a rite of passage. All of these things are challenges. All of these things are things that you have to overcome. Misego has to overcome. And throughout all of that, he finds out what it truly means to be bold. So what happens is, through the story, you learn about the power of perseverance. This is a story that's touching lives and changing and impacting and empowering kings and queens of all ages. So again, the tests, the trials, the rite of passage, challenges. It's not that you get to the next level just because you say so. What happens is that you have to go through a process, and all of it helps you to become bold. And bold is not just being strong. In Bold Saga, it literally means brave onwards, limit destroyer. Being brave in the midst of your adversity, moving forward, moving onwards, right there where it says onwards. That onwards is momentum. That onwards is progress in the midst of adversity. And because of that, he's able to overcome the limits and destroy them, finding the limits and destroying them. But all of that is possible through momentum. Throughout the story, you see it. Challenges come, issues come, but he chooses to have faith and move forward. So again, if you want to be bold, if you want to get to that next level, you have to maintain momentum. You have to go from one level to the next level to the next level and not give up. Like even Winston Churchill had mentioned that having that enthusiasm, moving from failure to failure without losing any momentum, that's the winner's quality. And I feel that that's something that we truly don't focus enough on. If you want to maintain the momentum, you're going to go through setbacks. You're going to go through failures. They've said that, let's put M for master and P for pupil. They say that the master has failed more times than the pupil has ever tried. So the failures have been more times than the pupil has ever tried. But because of that, the master has gained success and the pupil has to learn from the master. So again, if you want to get to that next level, if you want to go from one level to the other level, yes, you're going to overcome challenges. Yes, you're going to go through failures, but I remember reading in a book, literally, it's not about just the failure. All failures truly are temporary because they teach you something, and failure truly is the greatest teacher. The amount of failures, the amount of challenges that I've had, they've allowed me to learn. And then from learning, it allows me to help others. It's all a journey, and who you become in the process is amazing. And when you help others by teaching them, by explaining to them what you've learned, what God has shown you, it's phenomenal. In fact, the whole way I got into graphic design, which helped me to get to this level of finishing my own book, I had failed. I had failed so many times that I remember starting graphic design with like A averages and B, and after taking the courses, it was C's and D's. I failed just about so many times because I would get the work and it would be high grades, but then the time it took, again, time, the moment, I was late. So again, all of that learned, and it showed me that you have to utilize your time wisely, and by helping others, by being Computer Graphics Club president in something that I was failing at, is nothing but the grace of God. But all of that helped me to move forward. Keep your eyes on the prize. God wants to turn your moment into momentum. You want to take, and all of these challenges, all of these tests, if you're going through pain, get a reward from it. Yes, Veronica Altman said, keep moving forward, maintain momentum. You want to maintain the momentum, maintain, hold on to it. Because you don't want to let life take these challenges and take all of these problems and pain and just sit on it. Like Dr. Eric Thomas mentioned, if you're going through pain, get a reward from it. Put an R right there. You don't want to just let the pain hit you. You don't want to just let the challenges hit you. You want to take all of that pain, all of that pressure, all of those challenges, and then utilize your mind, utilize your heart, utilize your thoughts, and think of solutions. Solutions are what changes the world, not just the problem. If we only talked about the problem, we'd still be talking about the problem. You want to maintain your momentum. You want to keep moving forward because, again, just like in the laws of motion from Newton, an object that's in motion is going to maintain motion unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. Don't let life keep hitting you with those. And that's really everything that I wanted to mention for today. Again, it's all about maintaining the momentum. When God gives you these opportunities, keep moving forward, keep persevering in the midst of adversity. That's how you change your life.
Wow. What a life-changing presentation. Uplifting teaching. I mean, you broke momentum down, Euwanii. I never saw it broke down the way that you did. Well, it is time for us to come to an end. Thank you for tuning in with us. I pray that you were impacted by this amazing man of God. Remember, you must maintain momentum. Momentum is a system. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Euwanii, I tell you, one thing that I love about you, I love many things about you, but one thing that I love about you, every time you come on the show, you always leave us full. And I appreciate you. I thank you. I thank you for sharing, with us in your element. And God bless you. God bless you. You are an amazing man of God. Join us next week with another segment of Mask Off. My co-host and myself will be discussing Own It Part 2, Forgiveness. It's hosted by yours truly. You do not want to miss this upcoming show. Good night. Stay safe. Remember to follow us on Facebook, IG, YouTube, at The Denise Newsome Show. We will close with our announcements. God bless you.
You just need a little more time and you will get there. Let Denise and you some.
The Denise Newsome Show is giving credit where credit is due with a brand new lineup, live Mondays from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. First Monday is Live with Denise Newsome. Second Monday is In Your Element, giving our guests the chance to share what they do best. Third Monday is Mask Off, where authentic conversations happen with co-hosts Sybil Price Rucker and Deidre Moody. Fourth Monday is Live with Denise Newsome. We don't want you to miss anything that 2022 may have for you. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, share, and join in the conversation at The Denise Newsome Show. Increase your brand awareness by advertising with The Denise Newsome Show. Let us help you get your message out. We offer a 30-second video commercial or a voiceover flyer with your details. Visit denisenewsome.com or email denisenewsome64@gmail.com for more details. Help The Denise Newsome Show give credit where credit is due. Contact us today with your love offering or sponsorship to keep this show running. Also, like, follow, subscribe, and share to get the word out. You are appreciated at The Denise Newsome Show, and we look forward to hearing from you at denisenewsome.com or emailing denisenewsome64@gmail.com.